There's nothing like a good egg roll to restore confidence in the direction of our country.
Hey, maybe some of those kids can work on rolling our eggs out of Fallujah.
We see parents who dream big, of honor students and artists. By supporting programs that help children learn, we help parents watch their dreams come true.
From the Watergate Building in Washington, this is Hotline TV. Now, here's Hotline editor John Mercurio.
Hi everyone, I'm John Mercurio.
And I'm Amy Dudley. Welcome to Hotline TV.
Thank you so much for joining us, Amy Dudley, daughter of Debbie Dudley, the best chocolate chip cookie maker in America.
Oh, she will be so excited.
All right, well, President Bush has found a little uptick in the most recent Gallup polls, with his public approval rating inching up to 38%. John McCain has been struggling to regain his footing on Iraq. As Bush traveled to McCain's native Arizona to renew his push for immigration reform, Amy Dudley, you cover John McCain. How can the two play off each other to score political wins?
Well, in terms of how McCain can gain off of President Bush's push to, bring up immigration reform again, if anything, if he avoids it and shies away from it, and
which is exactly what he's trying to do, right?
Trying to do, even though people his aides have said that he's too busy, but too busy is allowing him to avoid having to deal with it.
He's too busy to be the face of immigration reform in the same way he was last year. He's not going to go on Meet the Press and debate James Sensenbrenner or something, or Tom Tancredo, but he's still going to be working with the White House, I think, on a bill, on this immigration reform bill. So it puts him in a sticky situation, I think, and especially in primary.
He's already backed off from the bipartisan bill that he had brought up last year with Senator Kennedy, and so that was made vocal, and people caught wind of that a couple weeks ago, saying he's waffling, he's backing off so he can keep his conservative base happy.
Right.
So now that it's coming up again, and you see side-by-side coverage of President Bush tooting the immigration reform policy and Senator McCain coming back from Iraq, all this coverage together, people, I think, are differentiating, okay, Senator McCain's dealing with Iraq, and not thinking about him as an immigration reform.
It's actually very similar to the way that the two of them, you mentioned Iraq, it's actually very similar to the way I think that the two of them are working with and against each other on the issue of Iraq. You've got McCain, as you just said, traveling to Iraq, basically pushing the president's case that the progress in Iraq is underreported, that we've got to give the troop surge time to work. At the same time that he's, expressing all this frustration with the president's and the administration's mishandling of the war. So, at the same time on immigration, where he's working with the president, he supports this proposal, but he doesn't really want to be as vocal on it as he was last year, and probably won't be campaigning on it. In Iraq, it's the same sort of like with, against. It's a very delicate dance between those two people. I mean,
he's definitely trying to come in as the courageous leader who can bring us out of the war that we're in, and brought up the other night on 60 Minutes, reminded people President Bush is responsible for this war. I'm going to be the one who, keeps up and stays strong in support of it, but is going to take us out. And people aren't paying as much attention to Bush and Iraq right now. They're paying attention to Bush and his immigration policy.
Right. Well, right, exactly. And what McCain needs to do, what McCain has to do, unfortunately for him, because I think in 2000 the trust bond between Bush and McCain was shattered. They've worked a long time over the past 7 years to rebuild it. And what McCain needs to do in 2007, heading into 2008, is just basically trust Bush. Trust Bush's handling of the war, trust Bush's troop surge, because without some sort of improvement in Iraq, he's not, and without Bush's ability to get this immigration bill to expand its popularity among Republicans, McCain has no shot.
And he's sort of in a tough spot because now he's so entwined with this war, he can't back off, or else he would face tremendous onslaught of criticism. So he's sort of holding on as the loudest proponent for it and can't let go. And you're right, he needs to trust what's happening and really truly believe, and hope that believing makes things better over there.
Sometimes believing is all you need to do. Well, that looks like we're out of time. Kids, be gentle with those eggs. One of them could hatch us a plan to get us out of Iraq. Thank you so much for joining us, Amy Dudley, and thank you all for joining us on Hotline TV.